Okay, I left the last video having created a section, but before I go on, I want to revisit, let's go back here, and revisit the instructions and what it actually is saying. So we're going to put a new section, which we just did, but that section is going to have a class equal to gallery in its open tag. And then after that, it's going to have a new H2 element that says photo gallery. So what we can do, let me take this out for a second, get it out. We can actually use, again, Emmet inside VS Code to help us include the class. And anytime we can do that, we minimize the potential for introducing typos. So let me start by typing section. And to that, I'm going to add a dot gallery, Gallery. And it's really important to get the spelling for this, and that the spelling is consistent between index.html and our styles.css. So after I've typed this, if I hit return or enter, it makes that section and it includes an attribute class equals gallery, which is exactly what I want. So you noticed I typed section dot gallery, and that dot we should be learning, especially when we get into styles.css, if we have a dot in front of a name, that implies that it's a class. So we can do it in Emmet, and then later on we can do it in styles.css. So the instructions say that right after the creation of the section, we need an H2. So let me type H2 and hit return. And we are going to have photo gallery, just like that. Now, if we come back into the instructions, I refer to a Mozilla page. Mozilla is the maker of Firefox, and they have some really great resources for tutorials online that we can often take good advantage of. So I've got one here. I'm going to right click and open in a new tab. I think I already did it once. Let me close that one. And here we have a definition of a figure. It's an element that represents a self-contained content with an optional caption, which is specified by the fig caption element. And most common is to have inside a figure some kind of image. Doesn't have to be an image, but a very common use of the figure element is to capture an image and its caption all in one element, sort of self-contained, as the definition implies. So this is the kind of structure that we're going after. We can click on the CSS tab and see the CSS that they've used to get this really nice looking effect. But the only thing that we really want to look at right now is the HTML. So we have a figure represented by an open figure tag, and then of course a closed figure tag, and then inside an IMG tag linked to an image and a fig caption with a title. So let's do that. Bring my cursor on the outside of the closed H2. Open that up with a return or an enter. And the first thing I have to do is create a figure element. So I type the word figure. It makes the open and close tag. I hit return. Now I need an IMG element. So I type that in. It makes the IMG element for us. It's an empty element. It doesn't need a close tag because all of the information that we need for the IMG element are in the attributes inside the open tag. So the source is going to be a link to the image that we want, which is here in the images folder. And this is the great thing about moving the photos in here first, because I can use the editor to help me get the exact file name that I need to use. So if I start typing images and then hit slash to show that it's a folder, the editor immediately finds all of the files inside that folder and offers them to me. And let me select the first one. And then I have to go into the alt attribute and give it an alternative string of information in case it's a screen reader that is working for a visitor who cannot see the image. We use the alt attribute to help with that. An alt is a required element of every, or a required attribute inside an IMG tag. That's a new specification in HTML5. Okay, so I'll come outside of that IMG. Now, I just recently learned that if I type the whole word fig caption, Emmet doesn't know that, but it does know fig C, and you can actually see that right here. So if I write the abbreviation fig C, Emmet knows it's a fig caption. So I can hit enter or return, and I go right into that element right there. So we can save this file now. Right click, hover over index.html, right click on that, open in live server, scroll down, then there we go. It's not where we want it yet. That's a styling solution, but it certainly is over there. Okay, so let's go into the instructions. So and see what we've accomplished. We have the IMG element and a fig caption element for the first one. Then it says we have to add a horizontal rule. We're actually going to add 2 of them. So we have 3 images and 2 rules. So if we put now a horizontal rule outside of the close of the figure tag, save it again. We might not be able to see it in live server because it's going to be down at the bottom, but there it is. So it's actually there. Okay, so we have to remember where we are. We're still in the section, and we've created one figure. Let's create another one right after the HR, which stands, obviously, now you know, it stands for horizontal rule. So I need a figure inside an open and close figure element. I need an IMG with images slash, and then I will do the male lion. That's complete. Come on the outside of that. new line, do a fig C, which is short for fig caption, a male lion. So the figure is done. Outside of that figure, I'm going to put another horizontal rule and do my third figure. Oops. Images / tiger. A tiger. And then outside of that IMG tag, one more fig C for fig caption and a tiger. So we're going to save that, look again. It looks great. Actually, I don't know if I've got the same, a male lion photograph. Oh, yes. Yeah, let me do that. So I'm slightly out of order. It doesn't really matter. Andrea Bowl. Photographed by Andrea Bowl. And I will just carefully copy and paste. In my fig captions and in my alt. Okay, so once again, save. That's the picture that I'm trying to sort of make it look like. And it's looking pretty good. Let's go back up to where we were. So it says you now have 3 section elements in your index.html, and there is an H2 heading right after the open of each section tag. These H2 heading elements will be the section titles and say, hello, I am, did you know, and photo gallery. And sure enough, there we go. Hello, I am, do you know, did you know, photo gallery. So we have the sections, and we have, we can collapse this one down if we want, 3 sections, H2's inside these collapsed sections, and absolutely nothing in red. So we've done an okay job of editing the index.html. So on to the CSS. I will make that the next video. We have approximately 6 steps to do. Actually, before I end this video, let me commit and push add photos. Doesn't really matter what I say, not too much. So I've committed, but now I have to push. Come up here and push. Watch it go around and around. Come back to this. Refresh this. There we go. Add photos. And if we look at the Netlify version, let's refresh that too. And there's our photo gallery, ready to be styled. So styling will come next.